Welcome to the Connected Leaders Academy virtual conference designed to reshape your vision of transformation. As we navigate the evolving business landscape, our speakers will unveil innovative strategies to manage and initiate change. Prepare to adapt, innovate, and lead, ensuring your role in this transformative era.
I truly believe that everybody in life, no matter what level you are, no matter what session you are in life, you can break the cycle of past traumas, generational curses. And in this talk, I want to talk about the 8 steps of tapping into your untapped potential and living a life of your true desire. So for today, I'm going to go over these 8 steps, but I want to start with some scripture that really changed my life and helped really expand my idea of how I thought and how I used words as a powerful way to change my level of thinking. So in Ecclesiastes 5:1-5, it says, "Walk prudently when you go to the house of God. Draw near to hear rather than to give the sacrifices of fools, for they do not know that they do evil. Do not be rash with your mouth, and let not your heart utter anything hastily before God. For God is in heaven, and you on earth. Therefore let your words be few. For a dream comes through much activity, and a fool's voice is known by his many words. When you make a vow to God, do not delay to pay it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you have vowed. Better not to vow than to vow and not to pay." So you have to be careful with the words that you say. When you make a promise to yourself, that's how you build character, by following through with it. When you make a promise to God, that's how you build character, by following through with it. Do not make promises that you cannot follow through with, because you build yourself on the words that you say and what you do with the words that you say. So I hope that verse can stick with you. Take that and run with that. But I want to assure you that no matter where you are in life, I want to assure you that no matter what you're going through, I want to assure you no matter the level of success that you're having right now, even if you seem to be having great success, I believe that these 8 steps can take you and transform you to the next version of yourself and to that untapped potential that you have yet to tap into. So I want you to follow along as we touch on these 8 steps. And the first step, and this is based on my story and my transformational journey into bridging the gap from where I was to where I am now. So the step 1 is pattern interruption. See, I believe pattern interruption is a key process into changing the thoughts that you have, the actions that you take, and the life that you've lived up to this point. This is a proven system. You have to have a system in place in order to change the direction of your thoughts and your actions. And this is why I call it pattern interruption. And the pattern interruption is a system. It's the books you read. It's the audios you listen to. It's the podcasts that you listen to. It's the specific things that you do in order to change your thoughts at a specific moment. See, a lot of people use music. A lot of people use reading. A lot of people use relationships. Whatever it is, you have to find something. When you go into a negative or toxic way of thinking, you have to find something that changes your pattern of interruption. You have to find something that stops you in your tracks and gets you to stop, to think. I used to call it pray, proceed, right? You have to pray on what you're doing, then proceed accordingly to the next step. If it takes you an hour, 3 hours, maybe one day. But you have to have something that interrupts the patterns that you are currently having. See, step 2 is you have to make a decision. This is something that I struggled with for a long time. I got stuck in making a decision, but making a final decision is what I really needed to do. We all can make decisions. It's the following through with the final decision that we make that really creates the success. So I want you to understand this. Wherever you're at, you can change, but you first have to make a decision to change. You first have to make a decision to no longer allow your past to create the future for you. You have to no longer allow the things that once kept you stuck hold you in a position of stuckness. So you have to make a decision in your life. Do you want change? Do you want transformation? Do you want to change the financial future? Do you want to change your relationships future? Do you want to change who you are and what you see that God sees you as? Then you have to make a decision to go all in on you. You have to make a decision that there is no going back. You have to make a decision that I'm locking in now. You have to make a decision for once in your life. You have to choose. If you are successful in what you're currently doing, what are the limiting beliefs that are keeping you from going to that next level? What are the things that are keeping you from going into that ultimate version of self? You got to make a decision to release, to let go, and to step into the next future, the next goodness, the next part of that self-excellence, self-awareness of yourself. Step 3 is you got to clean house. So this is something for me that was built on past traumas, abandonment, sexual abuse, addiction. These are the things that held me in a position, and I had to clean house. And clean house means you have to let go and get rid of everything that no longer serves you. And what does it look like to you? You got to do a self-assessment. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. You got to take a whiteboard. You got to take a journal, and you got to ask yourself, what are the things that are now allowing me to grow? What are the things that are holding me back to my greatest version of self? Then you got to clean. You got to get rid. You got to completely dump everything that no longer serves your future self. And what is that? It could be your relationships. It could be the business. It could be, you could be holding on to a 9-to-5 job that you go to every day that makes you sick to your stomach, and you find yourself unfulfilled and unwilling to grow. Maybe that's something, maybe you've been at that job 15, 20 years. Maybe you've been in a friendship or a relationship for 15, 20 years that no longer serves you. You have to get rid of everything that you cannot take into the future with you so that you can become who God can use as a vessel to serve those that you were once like. Step 4, and I hope that you understand that there's relationships that you must let go. There are ideas that you must let go. There are beliefs that you must let go. And there are things that you have learned that you will have to unlearn. This is part of cleaning the house. Step 4 is you have to create your pillars to success. So for me, I build my life on 3 pillars. I build my life on the kingdom of God, which is loving others. I build my life off leadership, which is serving others. And I build my life off of transformation, which is daily personal growth. Because the saying is, you either growing or you're dying. There's no in between. So you get to choose what type of life that you live based off the pillars that you build to the success that you desire in your life. And those pillars is your foundation. That is your rock solid foundation. Those are the things that are unmovable. Those are the things that will no longer hold you back because you have set that rock solid foundation. As you know, the Bible says those that build their house on sand, when the storm comes, when the wave comes, those houses will be washed away. See, when you build your house on a solid foundation, when you build your life on your pillars of success, you have an immovable object that God can back. If you are unsure, if you're undecisive on who you are and what you stand for, you will easily be manipulated and washed away when the storms of life come. So set yourself up on the pillars of success. What is it for you? It's not going to be what it's for me. It's going to be what it is for you and what you want to move your life forward. Step 5 is this. We got to get centered. We got to get laser focused and open on self. What do I mean by that? We have to build our core values. What are you in the core of yourself? What do you want to stand for? What do you want people to remember you for? When people ask if they know you and what they believe about you, they will be able to say, oh, well, he was intentional with his life. He was laser focused. He was obsessed with his mission. See, you got to build those core values for you, which means you're going to have to get centered on self. You're going, not self-centered, centered on self, which means you're going to have to be self-aware of your limiting beliefs. You're going to have to be aware of the things that are holding you back. And you're going to have to be aware of maybe some of the things that you're allowing to influence you. If they are not attached or they not are a part of your value system, then again, we go back to letting them go. You have to remove these things in your life in order to move forward in your life. See, you can believe that people have success. See, success is what they allow you to see. But to live a life of successful principles, you have to build upon yourself first. You build yourself in the dark so that you can serve people in the light. So what are your core values? Me, I want people to know that I was self-determined, that I was self-disciplined, that I loved, that I served, that I was always willing to grow, that I was intentional with everything that I do, that I was focused on moving God's kingdom forward, that I was focused on leading and serving those that I was once like. So focus on your goals. Who do you want people to remember you for? And what kind of relationships do you want to build based off the value system that you build now? So step 6 is build your vision. And you probably hear this all the time about building the vision. You got to build your vision, which means you have to know thyself. To build the vision, you have to know what you want in all areas of your life. See, I work with so many people that will say that they want financial freedom. But what does financial freedom look like to you? For some people, it might be $300,000 a year. For others, it might be $2 million a year. For other people, maybe they don't need the financial freedom. Maybe they want relationship freedom. Maybe they want to be able to network and serve people. So you have to know what the vision is for you. You have to know what the vision is of your future self. What does my future self look like? And you have to write it down. You have to know what that version of you looks like so that you can start to do the work and bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. That's the growth. That's the transformation process. That's the steps. Those are the things that are going to lead you into your ultimate version and vision of self. Then what does it look like spiritually? What does it look like professionally? What does it look like in my relationships with my wife, my girlfriend, my children, my boyfriend, my husband, whatever it is? What do those things look like for you? You got to know what you got to cast the vision in order to know where you're going. And then you work backwards. You start today what you can do tomorrow. And then you continue to move forward. Don't get so focused on the things that don't serve you today. Don't get so focused on the obstacles that arise, because I truly believe that every time you cast a vision for what that next version of self looks like, what that next version of your business looks like, what that next relationship looks like, God is going to put a mountain in your way. God is going to put a valley in you because he's got to build you to become that. So I want you to understand that valleys are as important as peaks, if not, they're more important, because it's a molding process to get to the vision that you say you want. But if you want that vision, then you got to understand that there's going to be valleys and trials and tribulations that come along with the vision that you cast. Nothing comes easy that is of great. So you got to be willing to pay the price that you say you want. And that's why your vision, that's why your mission, that's why writing down is so important. Because when you reread what you say you want, you got to understand that you have to become that along the way. You don't get rewards from the work that you don't do. You don't see that vision start to become when you're not doing the work. See, Eric Thomas said something so great. He said, don't be mad for the results you have for the work that you didn't do. See, you got to be able to do the work in order to create the results. That's why the vision is so important. So step 7 is you have to get into action. What I say, you have to get into massive action. You have to get so focused on your goals. You have to get so focused on creating momentum in your life. You got to start to see results immediately. So if I'm working, if I'm working with a mentor, if I'm working with a coach, it's not because I want them to do the work for me. It's because they've been where I want to go. They have the results that I want to get. So in order to get into action, I have to start to do what they're telling me to do. The greatest shortcut in life, and there's only one shortcut in life, and that's to find somebody who's done what you want to do that can give you the results that you desire because they've been there before you. So be careful who you follow. Be careful who you allow to speak into your life. Make sure they have what you want. Don't get focused on the Instagram gurus, the Facebook gurus. Don't get focused on the people who can give you flash but got no substance. Make sure the people that you follow have character, have integrity, and have substance. Make sure that they have the results. Ask them for receipts. You have to get into action. If you want to build something, you've got to get into massive action, and you have to build momentum. Read the books that they recommend. Take notes on events like this from the books that you read. Write down what you can apply immediately so that you can get fast results. Most people see no success in life because they're unwilling to put action behind the words they say. Remember, words are cheap, actions are deep. When your children see you take actions rather than speaking on what you're going to do, they're more worthy to follow the steps that you take, not the words that you say. It's the smoker who tells his kids not to smoke because it's bad for you, but the kid watches the parent smoke. See, I don't want to be that parent. I don't want to be that leader. I don't want to be that role model that tells somebody to do something that I haven't done 100 times first. So you never have to worry about when you see me speak, when you see me out, that I'm not living the life that I say I live, because I'm always applying it to my life. So step number 8, and this is where people really need to understand that you're going to have sometimes more downs than ups. As an entrepreneur, as somebody who struggled with trauma their whole life as I have, through addictions, through abandonment, through my child with disabilities, through all these things that I have endured. There's been more down days than up days in specific years. But the idea is you always have to live, step 8, live a life of purpose. And if you don't know what your purpose is, then you need to start. This is a great step. Listening in, reading, understanding that there is more to your life. There is some untapped potential that you have yet tapped into. This is your time. This is your moment. You're here for this reason. You're reading and hearing these words for a reason. Why? Because you know you were created for more. And if you want to break the cycle, if you want to tap into that untapped potential, if you want to live a life on purpose, then you have to be on fire for life. You only have one life, and if you live life well, you only need one life to live. But you have to ask yourself these questions. And again, I go back to, I don't care how successful you believe, because many people with a lot of money are super depressed and living a life of unfulfillment in their relationships and their spirituality. You can have a lot of money and still be broke. You can have a lot of great relationships and still be broke. Wouldn't you love to live a life of breaking the cycle of all things that your generations have handed down to you? I'm a generational breaker. I'm the one who's going to change the lineage of my family for generations to come. Are you that one? Are you the one that's willing to break the cycle? Are you the one who's willing to take your business to the next level? Are you the one who's willing to take your marriage to the next level? Are you the one who's willing to raise God-fearing, loving children who build something that can be handed down to the great, great, great grandchildren? So I want you to understand, you have to live a life on purpose, which means you have to be extremely on fire. You have to be super intentional about the things you let into your life. You have to be super intentional about the people you let into your life. You have to be super intentional about the schedule you keep. So I want you to understand, these 8 steps will be the starting of breaking the cycle. Why do I know that? Because this is what I did in my life. 10 years ago, when I was on the urge of committing suicide and taking my own life with 4 beautiful children, the home, the 6-figure income, and everything else, I was lost. I was broken. Why? Because I was living in bondage. I was living in trauma. But God showed up and reminded me that I had purpose, reminded me that I could become the one when I made a decision to become the one. And my first mentor said something to me so important that I'll never forget. He said, Raymond, your past doesn't define your future. You hold the pen to your life, and you can start writing a new chapter the moment you make a decision that the buck stops here. I never had someone speak to me like that. I was abandoned at 10 years old. I've raised myself, and it wasn't the right way. But I got a mentor who saw something in me that I didn't even see in myself. And he told me if I made a decision and I started living a life on purpose and I started doing things for other people and I started to transform my life, then one day I would be able to serve others that I was once like. So as I really want you to understand, you, my friend, you personally have the key. You have the key to unlock somebody else's prison. You have the key in your hand. Your trauma, your tribulations, your trials are the keys to somebody else's prison who's praying at night for someone like you to come into their life, to speak life into them, to believe in them, and to help them see that they're greater than what they currently are. My question to you is, are you willing to hand the key to the next generation? Are you willing to hand that key to somebody else? That key is your story, my friend. That key is your journey, my friend. That key is the bridge that you've been able to cross. Are you willing to let that key go? Are you willing to be the key to unlock somebody else's prison? I want you to understand that you are the one. You can become greater than you've ever imagined. And that potential is deep down inside of you. That potential that you don't even believe you have is there. But you got to ask. You got to seek. You got to build knowledge. You got to ask for wisdom when you feel weak. Remember, God said that my strength is in your weakness. So lean on him. Lean on those that believe in you. Find a mentor, find a coach. And the last quote I'm going to end with is this. Those that have the ability to fly should fly. There is no point being stuck on the ground with the rest. You, my friend, are an eagle. You, my friend, have the ability to fly. There are a lot of people that are going to want to be chickens in your life. You get to choose. Are you going to be an eagle or are you going to be a chicken? It's your time to fly, my friend. Now is your time.
Thank you for participating in today's enlightening session. As we transition to our next expert, remember that each strategy and insight is a step toward becoming a transformative leader in your field. Visit connectedleadersacademy.com to stay engaged and informed. The journey of change is ongoing. Let's move forward together.